All right, looks like we're streaming. Looks like we've got everybody here. So welcome everybody to our DeltaV Ops 301 project presentations. So you're gonna hear from the teams who have gone through our first ever Ops 102 class, our first ever Ops 201 class, and our first ever Ops 301 class. And so they'll give their presentations and we'll save Q&A for both groups all the way to the end. But as always, we definitely want to thank our partners and sponsors. These are folks, local employers and local nonprofits and the government, all coming together to make this happen. And so Involta is a great employer here in Cedar Rapids. They're hiring some of these folks, which you might hear a little bit more about later. Project Iowa in Des Moines using DeltaV as training for plugging into their program that they're running. CCR, same thing, running a training program inside to hire folks and utilizing DeltaV as part of that. And CCR has also come on as a full sponsor for both the Code School and the Ops School, which is awesome. Love to have CCR support. And of course, Future Ready Iowa making it possible with Employer Innovation Fund grants to help us get this thing off the ground. So really thankful to all of our partners and sponsors. If you're interested in ops, especially after you watch these presentations and see how much these students have learned and where their careers are going, our next series of code, oh, sorry, that says code, that should say ops, DeltaV Ops 102, 201, and 301 starts on March 22nd. So you can just check out deltav.school and the course catalog there for the ops class. We'll give you more information about that. So it's March 22nd through May 28th if you go through the entire full 9-week program. And then, also we started off as Code School. And so if you're interested in what we're doing on the code side of things, we do have our next 101 scheduled. So Code 101 is going to be on Saturday, February 27th. And Mark will walk folks through. It's an all-day Saturday over Zoom, of course, thing where you're going to learn about HTML and CSS and kind of what a career in software development is like. And so again, that's on February 27th. If you'd be interested in that, we're still offering that for free. So you can just go to deltavcodeschool.com/101 if you're interested in looking into that as well. So with that, I will turn it over to instructor Dan, and I will start promoting the first team as panelists so they can present.
Hey everyone, my name is Dan Tuuri and I'm the instructor for the ops curriculum. So network and sysadmin type work, thinking about ways we design networks, ways we secure networks. This is a group that has constantly impressed me, and I tell them they raise the bar. And of course, then there's the joke of, well, there's no bar since it's the first time we're running through. I'm like, you're right, but it's an impressive crew. And I think you're going to find that as we go through the scenario today, they're handling things similar to what we'd expect in the real world. So for those of you that watched the 201 project, you're going to see some similar components to what we did the first round. The difference is when we were doing our 201 project, I kind of took an approach of, hey, just open up your firewall to the world, monitor closely what's happening, and make sure you kill off the device the second we're done with the scenario. But just go ahead and make it work. And then as we went through this iteration in 301, I said, now you need to prove that it's secure. You need to go through the proper processes. You need to think about the what if statements. So I will share in the chat in just a second the scenario that I've got the students going through. But it is the dealership North Side Nissan and South Side Subaru. So the scenario, and I'll see if anyone catches it, the scenario is the McDowell family has been forced to sell their restaurants out to McDonald's. And now they're getting into the car automotive dealership business. And of course, I told the students, because of their relationship with the family of Zamunda, if you haven't caught the reference yet, it's coming to America. But because of that, be ready to build an environment that's incredibly secure and is really, really tight and protected. So they were given a couple of brief scenarios. I'll throw those in the chat right now for you. But beyond that, everything that they're delivering is of their own creation. So there was very little input from me or from others on our DeltaV team. But we wanted them to have a sense and have an awareness and be prepared to deliver. So with that, we'll go ahead and introduce our first is Southside Subaru.
Hey everyone, thanks for being here today. We are still missing one person on our team though, unless Khalid is here and I just don't see him. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry, it just updated on my screen. So thanks for that. My name is Angelica and I joined DeltaV. I joined the program after leaving my previous career in spirits distillation after being unemployed due to COVID. I've learned so much since being here for the 9 weeks, and I'm really excited to enter the workforce as a service desk technician once I'm done with these classes. So I'll go ahead and let the rest of my team introduce themselves, and then we'll go ahead and get into our presentation.
My name is Danielle Lahr. I came to DeltaV after seeing an ad in the newspaper. I'm a licensed teacher, English teacher, and a school librarian. I'm starting my career as a help desk for tax software.
Hello everyone, my name is Khalid Adam, and I joined DeltaV for the last 4 weeks. Unfortunately, I didn't join DeltaV with those other students like from the beginning of the course, which was, I believe, back in November. But I have learned a lot in those 4 weeks that I joined DeltaV. I currently have an associate degree from Southeast Technical College based in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I'm now currently studying network and system administration at Bellevue University, Nebraska, taking some online classes. I found this opportunity last October, and I kind of joined, and I don't regret that I joined actually this this amazing program, and I've met all of these amazing students and amazing teacher. Hopefully this program plays everyone in their dream job or tech job, I should say, that they kind of looking for. And I wish good luck to everyone here.
You want to unmute
Sorry,
yourself?
still muted. Okay, perfect. So Southside Subaru dealership was recently acquired by the McDowell family, and we were hired to support their acquisition of this and other dealerships. It's important for this family to have a secure network to manage multiple branches and ease of access by utilizing cloud computing. These tools will allow for an easy and successful work environment for users, administrators, managers, everyone. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Most of our services at Southside Subaru are run through Microsoft Azure. We have a DNS zone for our domain, and we graciously borrowed the domain happyhourcr.com from one of our students. So that is currently the domain for the conceptual purposes of this project. We have records that allow our instances to connect through our domain, and the majority of our works resources are run through this Windows server. So here I have our Windows server and our server manager. We have Azure Active Directory, and that is where we can create rules and manage the company's hierarchy. So we actually have a PowerShell script that we have to add users to our Active Directory. This is easy for someone to add or take away employees as they move around through the company. Currently, the 3 of us are set as administrators, and we're able to change the user group when necessary. We also can create group policies across the board with our group policy manager. So this is great to create a secure work environment across the board for any desktop experience. Here we have, as an example, our user group policy. So this, if we create a rule in this area, it will apply to anybody in the user category. So for example, if you want to make certain system edits, like we don't want certain applications to run on Windows, we can go in here and enable or disable certain programs. We can prevent users from turning off automatic updates to just keep things secure and regular across the board. In our server, we also utilize IIS, or Internet Information Services, and currently we're using this to host our company website. So here is our example website for conceptual purposes. We have a happy hour website that is currently under, will be developed as these acquisitions move across the board. So it may be necessary as the company grows to create a DMZ for their website. So this is a demilitarized zone. This could offer some additional security benefits, like segmenting the network to keep the private network less visible from the public internet. And this is done by adding an additional firewall. This allows for additional access control and just additional security. So we're also going to talk about how we can back up any changes or edits that we make inside Azure, or inside Active Directory, excuse me, and we do that through Azure.
Yes, and Azure is a cloud service where Angelica, where she was doing all those settings, was a server that's hosted in Azure. And what we do with Active Directory is we can use Azure Active Directory to connect with our Windows Server Active Directory. So I'm just gonna pull it up right here. So here you can see, here's happy hour. We're connected to the domain right there. And you can see here, and it syncs. We download Azure Active Directory Connect to the Windows Server, and that allows us to sync the users with whoever is in the server. And I will take you to the users so you can see that they are connected. And here's Angelica right here. She is a user and an administrator on our network. Other things you can use Azure Active Directory is you can reset passwords, you can see different deleted users, you can also see what groups are hosted in here. So we've got our groups here. And you can also see who has signed on and how many sign-ons there have been. You can enable a guest account for any person you don't want to give them full access to. Also, with Azure Active Directory, you can also use it to connect Microsoft accounts with. So you can use it with Microsoft Office 365, and that allows you to roll out apps like Word and use it for file sharing, which I will get more into that after we talk more about the user experience. So this is the administrator side. Now we'll talk about the viewer experience and how you actually securely log into an environment like this.
Great. So I'm going to talk about the VPN that we created and how our clients can sign in or to our network using the secure VPN. First of all, we're going to talk about VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network. Why we use VPN? The most two reasons that people use VPN is safety and security. The most important, of course, because it provides an encrypted tunnel for transfer data and from your host to the network without like any bad guys spying or snooping onto your data. Also location. So with now like the pandemic that we're having now, a lot of people working from home or working somewhere away from the workplace. With VPN, it gives them like the ability to access any to the network and like do whatever they want to do, just like they're in the office. We created a Windows built-in VPN. We went with this choice because it's not the best, but it's kind of free. So I'm going to I'm going to explain how we install and configure the remote access VPN. There are two types or two methods that we can install the remote access. The first one is through the server manager. In our server manager, we can go here on tools and then just add the rules through our dashboard, and then we select the remote access to install it. The other way is we can do it through the PowerShell, which is easier and faster if you're familiar with the PowerShell. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the authentication methods. So there are several authentication methods that we can use in our remote access VPN. And then here are some ports. So those are the security methods that we can use for our VPN. For our team, we kind of choose those two, and then here we can either like make a dynamic. If we have like DHCP or dynamic host configuration protocol, we can use it to give like IP addresses to the clients, or we can use a static address pool, and then just add a range from this to this, depending on the size of the company and how many clients they have. The next thing is like we need to make a policy or and enforce it. We can do that through like network policy server, and we can do we can do that just by going to the server manager itself, and then tools, and then we go to network policy server. And then as you can see, policies, and then here I've already created a VPN. This is the name of my policy here, and I can add groups like Windows groups, machine groups, user groups, and there's a lot of options that I can use from. So, for instance, if I want to add a specific group to this policy, I can just do add, and then, for instance, here I can do IT, or I can do, say, Zero Rabbits. I have a group here called Zero Rabbits that have employees. I want to assign a specific policy to them. I can just add easily, and then as you can see, it's already been added. Done. ports that you should open. Depending on your method of authentication, you may need to open several ports. In our project here, we kind of use this one, LT2TP, which is layer 2 tunneling protocol. And we have opened port 1701 and port 500 in our server and Azure as well. Now we move next to how to connect our like client machine to a VPN. Say here, this is a client machine. That one is connected to the VPN. All they need to do is just go to settings or just go to the Windows here and then type VPN. And then they can add a connection. And it's a Windows built-in. They can name it whatever they want. And then here they need to specify the IP address of the server. And then they can leave this automatic, or they can use the VPN type. For instance, this one, they have to have like the pre-shared key because like we use the same key for the server and here for the client as well. And then we save and then we are ready to go. So like this one, when it's ready, you just hit connect and then ask you for a username and password. And then you should be good to go from there. The only drawbacks for this VPN is a Windows built-in, which means clients who are using different operation systems won't be able to connect through it. But as we go, we can develop or we can have different VPN that have the ability to connect like users from different or using different operating systems like non-Windows operating systems. The last thing I'm going to talk about here is the remote access management console. And this is something on the server here to just check the status of the VPN. I can show you here a little quick. It's already open. Sorry, here we go. So you can, on the dashboard here, you can see what services are running. Here you can see if they're working or not, for how long they've been running. And on the remote client, you can see who is connected and what protocol they're using, what port, and their IP address. So it's an easy tool to manage the VPN. We can go next to Daniel to talk about more about the file sharing and how we manage users in Azure.
So I'll show you what the user's experience will look like. So I have already logged into my Windows and I've used my user account I have set up through Azure Active Directory. And to show you that it's there, I will show you that it's connected. And here is my email address right here, the account that I used to log in through the VPN and to get onto the Windows server. Also, with the user experience, they do have an email that is connected to the domain. And to show you that the email is connected, it's right there. And the reason why you want to have your own email that's connected to your domain is when you have a business, customers will trust an email from Subaru.com versus Angie@Subaru from gmail.com. It looks a lot more professional. Also, since it's connected to Microsoft, I am able to back up my files with OneDrive. So here is OneDrive and it's all synced. and it's connected to the domain happy hour. And I can also log in, and I can upload stuff from OneDrive, and you will see it here. You can also use your programs like Word, PowerPoint, Excel. It's all here. It's all accessible for everyone to use. And then, so this is what the user's side looks like. And then now I'm just going to show you what it'll look like on the user's admin side. And here's what it looks like on the admin side for Microsoft 365. So it'll show all of my users here. There's Angelica again, and you can give them access to certain apps. You can deny access to other apps. So you don't want somebody from accounting to be able to access Azure Active Directory. And then another thing is, in order to save your Active Directory and all your account settings on the Windows server, you can, in Azure, you can back up your servers in Azure. What you do is, all you have to do is click on the Windows server. So I've already clicked on it here, and all I have to do is go to backup. I already do have a policy set to back this up. And here's some restore points that I have already created. And there's the policy I created to back everything up. It backs everything up at 10 p.m. And in case you want to back it up before you change some settings, you just click backup now, and it will create a backup. And you can set the date to how long you want to keep the backup. You push OK, and right now it is backing up the Windows server right here. And Azure will let you know when it's done. So it's a lot easy to restore your server. All you have to do is click Restore VM and then select which snapshot you want to use. So that is Southside Subaru. And now we will pass it on to our sister company, who we are sharing with. And thank you for coming.
All right, so as Aaron helps us out and brings in the next group here for us, and they all get the stage set, again, what we're doing with DeltaV, with this curriculum specifically, is we're really trying to make sure that we're doing training and skills that are as relevant as possible to the industry and to the marketplace that they're going to face. So, you know, if there's scenarios, if you're in industry and you're doing cool things and you're kind of like, oh, this is one of those 1 in a million, please drop me a note. And you know, I'm real happy to work that into a little bit of an assignment or have you come by and guest speak. I really want to thank our some of our community meetups too, being able to have the students participate in things like the AWS group, SEC Midwest, so many different organizations locally that build our IT communities, and definitely want to continue to get the students plugged into each of those. So with that, having just heard Southside Subaru, here's Northside Nissan.
Hello, everyone. I guess we'll quickly do some intros. I'm Darren Carr. I came across DeltaV late last year when they really kicked off this ops program, saw it as an opportunity to kind of grow and expand my career options. And so currently I am the operations and IT manager for Orchestra Iowa, and I'm loving what I do, and I have DeltaV to thank for that.
I am Carla Morford. I have spent the last 20 years in higher education, but due to COVID, my position was eliminated, which brought me to DeltaV. I have learned so much, and I'm so excited to start this next chapter in my career.
Hi, I'm Alex Shields. I was previously a professional music director in professional theater, and of course, that's not happening right now. So I took this as a chance to sort of refocus onto a career in IT, which I've sort of always wanted to do, but I just needed my hand pushed a little bit. But I'm happy to be here, and I've had a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to what the next couple of years bring for my career. But we'll have Darren kick us off for our presentation.
Yeah, wonderful. So as you heard, we were hired to support Northside Nissan, the sister dealership for Southside Subaru. And at this dealership, we are using Amazon Web Services to host several servers as Elastic Compute Cloud instances. This is Amazon's primary cloud compute tool and availability. And with our servers, we have a domain server hosted within it. We have the web server that's got access to our website, and a VPN server. And the SQL database is hosted similarly, but is not a server instance as the others are. And we'll get more into that as we talk about it. So Amazon Web Services does provide us with numerous tools to optimize this network and especially enhance our security.
So here's a brief overview of our network map. We are operating in one VPC, which is a virtual private cloud, in Amazon, and we are doing two subnets, a public subnet and a private subnet. I'll talk about how we can secure that in a second. In our public subnet, we have our VPN server and our web server. And in our private subnet, we have our domain controller. The only way you can get to the domain controller is by using VPN to become a part of that virtual private cloud in the VPN client pool of IP addresses. Now, AWS, as Darren said, gives a lot of security tools for networks. You have security groups, which are assigned to every single aspect of AWS. EC2 compute instances, databases, basically everything has a security group, which you can use to create access controls and some very fine granularity based on ports and where they go to in terms of IP addresses or other security groups. It's a great tool. And of course, the subnets, you can accomplish that by creating routing tables to either connect certain subnets together or not connect them together. And that's what we have happening with ours. And then internet connectivity can happen in a couple different ways. For our public-facing instances, we use internet gateways, which allow those public instances to be truly public and exposed to the internet with public IPs. And our private server uses a NAT gateway, which allows it to remain hidden, but still get out to the internet for, patches or, just internet connectivity in general, but allow it to remain hidden and secure. So as I said, to connect to that domain server, we do have to utilize a VPN connection. I'm going to let Carla demonstrate that VPN capability and what you can access when being connected to our server, our network rather. Go ahead, Carla.
Employees will need to download the app OpenVPN Connect. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. This is the means that the employees will use to connect to their computers in the office. By using a VPN, it promotes additional security and safety measures. Employees will connect to the VPN server over a TLS 1.3, and authentication is handled using LDAP to the domain server over SSL. In short, that means that employees need to use their Active Directory credentials to connect to the VPN, and the server actually has to verify that they have permission to connect. To demonstrate how easy it will be for the employees to connect, once the tool is downloaded, they just need to go to their search bar, type in Open VPN, click toggle the switch to on, enter their Active Directory credentials. It turns on and they are connected. There are several ways to utilize the VPN. I will show you quickly how to utilize the full desktop experience. Again, from the search bar, search for remote desktop connection. You'll have to log in again using your Active Directory credentials. And as you can see, it actually takes me into my desktop, so I can see what is here just as I would as if I were in the office, except I'm in the comfort of my own home. Within this, we can access the server manager. And the server manager is where the Active Directory is kept. The Active Directory is a database that connects users to the network resources they need to get work done. The Active Directory contains critical information about your environment, including what users and computers there are and who's allowed to do what. The two departments that will utilize Active Directory heavily are Human Resources and Information Technology. When human resources terminate or hire employees, they can use a template and data specifications and complete that and fill that out and send it to IT. IT then runs a script to add users to the Active Directory. As you can see here, all of our employees are listed. If we go into Amelia, I can see her information here, and I can also see she is a member of our sales group.
Wonderful. Thank you, Carla. I'd actually like to expand upon that internet experience in general, and kind of show what we're able to do with the web server and domain server that we have. So if we go to omgz.com, that is Orville McDowell Garages of Zamunda, we have our website here, and this is hosted directly on our Amazon Web Services web server. And we have a connection just like she had right here with that remote desktop connection. We have our servers hosted there, and in the IIS, which our sister company at Southside Subaru demoed, we have the Internet Information Services. We can just kind of explore. We see that we have our HTML files, and it's as simple as that. We connect the domain to the IP address, and it all works like magic. But aside from that, I'd like to talk about Remote App. So you can see I'm not connected to our VPN here. If I were to try to go to server.corp.omgz, we don't have access to it. But I'll go ahead and log in with my Active Directory credentials. If I type that right, there we go. And now that I'm in that same subnet due to the VPN, I'm able to connect to the work resources page. So once again, I'll log in with my Active Directory credentials, and we have access to these remote apps. You can load up any apps that you have installed on your server to be deployed here. And essentially what this does is gives you a extension of your browser that hosts the visual of the remote app, and it's running on the server in the background. So once again, sign in with those Active Directory credentials. It's all the same across the board, and we let Heidi SQL run. This is our database. It hosts our customer information, anything for keeping track of parts numbers and vehicles in stock. And it is a little bit slower than if you were to run a full desktop experience, but that is because it's trying to isolate just the application. But this is not installed on my computer. I can type in Heidi SQL, and all we have is this remote app, and this is the only thing. And we have access to our customer database. We have our data, and of course we can run our query of, let's see how many customers we have in the state of Iowa. And it looks like we have 2. And I believe Alex has something fun to show with this same remote desktop option.
Fun indeed. So I'm going to raise the stakes a little bit to show that not only can you do remote desktop on Windows computers, but you can also use, as I connect Zoom to my tablet, iOS to do the same similar thing. So OpenVPN also has an app for iOS. So I will connect to the VPN, voila. And now, and I will use an already established remote desktop app. And there we go. Same thing. So this is also just the remote web app, not a remote desktop, but it is also available for iOS. I will now have Carla talk a little bit about our Office 365 integration and what the user experience is there.
Thank you. We recommend providing Office 365 Business Basic to all employees. The same file that HR used to get employees into the Active Directory can be used to get employees into our users into Office 365. And with Office 365, it's nice because you can do workflows that will assign tasks and send emails for employees to keep on track. To access it, you just need to go to office.com. Again, there are those credentials that we need. Make sure everything is secure. In order to use that file to add the users, you just need to go to Admin Settings, Users, Active Users. For this demonstration purpose, only the 3 of us are listed in here, but if this were a real production environment, all the employees that were in Active Directory would be listed here as well. IT has the option to add a single user, delete a user, or they can use that file to add multiple users at one time. It's as simple as to upload the file and verify, and you are in there. We will also utilize Office 365 for our email. So Outlook is nice, and it is connected to our domain. So the nice thing about that is if you look at someone's email, you can see at the end, we can use the @omgz.com. Finally, with Microsoft Office, we have access to all the products that come with it, including Word, Excel, PowerPoint, which is great for collaborative work. If you're working with a team, all you need to do is open up the file, and it's as simple as to click the share button, and you can either copy the link and give it to your teammates, or since we're connected to Outlook, you can just hit the Outlook button. The email link is in there. You address to who it's to. I'm working on with Alex on this project, and I just go ahead and send it from there. It's as easy as that.
Perfect. And the nice thing about Office 365 is you don't have to worry about backing up data or data availability or redundancy. That's all handled for us on Microsoft's behalf. Now on Amazon, however, we do need to have some thought into securing data and backing up data. So we have 2 data types in our cloud. We have that relational database, the MySQL database that we saw. That is AWS managed, but we do have to deal with backups just in case something unforeseen happens and we lose that instance. But snapshots can occur, which just takes an actual snapshot of the data, and we can restore from that snapshot very quickly. Now for the domain server, we are using a EBS, an Elastic Block Store drive, which is basically a cloud hard drive. And we can also make snapshots of that for backups. And right now we have a life cycle that takes a snapshot every 24 hours. So the most data loss that could occur would be 24 hours worth of data loss. And then we can recover from that snapshot very quickly. And I'm going to give a demo of that. This is my last magic trick I have to show. So I'm going to connect to this test backup and restore server, and I'm going to damage it a little bit. Well, I'm going to add a file and then damage it. So I'm just going to view text.txt and say hi. You probably couldn't see me enter hi, but it's there. There it is. Great. And I'm going to raise the stakes. I'm going to remove user bin ping. I'm going to sudo that. So if I try to ping something, It's not going to work. So I need to restore this server from a snapshot that we had taken. So I'm going to run this script that I've created in Python, and it is going to restore the server to a working condition. Now we can make these snapshots as frequent or as infrequent as we want. Right now, as I said, we have it every 24 hours. So you can have it set every hour, and then you only lose an hour's worth of data. But the return to operational state can happen in a matter of minutes. And these snapshots can take place when the server is running during a business day while business is happening, and everything will be perfectly fine. That's the great thing about snapshots. And so right now we have found some metadata from Amazon about the server instance ID. We found where that snapshot ID is, and we are detaching and deleting the current broken volume, and we are creating and attaching a new volume from that snapshot. And as soon as that is created and attached, we can just start the server and everything will be hunky-dory. And I think it's only been about 1:30 so far, and in total it'll probably take about 2 minutes, just a little bit over 2 minutes. So right now it's starting the instance, and as soon as that completes, then I can go show that that text file that I created will be gone because the snapshot occurred before that text file, but ping will be restored. So if I try and connect, we'll see if I need to give it another second or two. Yeah, I need to give it another second or two. It's fast, but it's not instantaneous. So we are logged in. We will list the directory. That file is gone. Can we ping? Oh, yes, we can, because everything is back up and running. So I'm all out of tricks. We thank you for attending our presentations, and we'll open it up now for any questions or about the project or about DeltaV that you might have. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so definitely, you know, we do want this to be an engaging experience, and certainly welcome everyone to participate and ask some questions. We're going to invite the rest of the panel back up as well. So Aaron's taking care of that for us. The first question is, what do you appreciate about the scenario in terms of your personal growth and education? So I'll take that as a part A for you. And I'll throw it in the chat too, because I know sometimes it's a little hard to take it in auditory, and it's over there in the chat for you as well. So who'd like to answer that for us?
I can answer that real quick, just because I appreciate having a practical experience inside AWS, having had just completed a certification in AWS. It was a lot of theoretical stuff that I dealt with. So it was really fun and challenging to take that and put it into an actual physical, well, not physical, it's in the cloud, a practical sort of application. So that was challenging, because I mean, it's one thing to like know theoreticals about a product, but it's another thing to sort of put that into action. So that was fun for me.
And was there maybe one more that wanted to answer that same question now that you thought of it for a second?
I know that Carla has something to share, but I'm not sure if she wants me to put her on the spot. But what I can kind of share, maybe it'll encourage something for her. But with this whole scenario, I completely agree with what Alex has said. The practicality, the kind of hands-on experience, even through virtual, has been immensely helpful. It's, for me, it's been great to see not only myself, but it's been even better to see my colleagues grow. When we started with the 102 class, it was a lot of us coming in with next to no knowledge about computers, and now I've seen not only myself, I've seen each of these colleagues of mine grow immensely, and that's what I love to see about it.
Okay, so next question I've got is kind of the part B from the same individual. Is there anything that surprised you during your learning process?
I can take this one. What surprised me was like the fact that like as everything built upon everything, you had this feeling of how am I ever going to do this? And then one day the light bulb comes on. I don't know how, don't know when. I'm sure it's different for everyone, but it just surprised me that in the end, everything, all the concepts finally made sense.
Awesome. And anyone else have a quick thought? Maybe Angelica to kind of follow up on that. I know Angelica and Carla have really enjoyed pairing up on projects, although for the final project they didn't get to this time.
I know, it was so weird to not work with her. But I mean, I definitely echo what Carla had to say. The same was true for me coming into this experience. I had no knowledge about computers really. And then the first day of 102, it was cool, rip your entire computer apart and put it back together by lunch. So going from that to just looking back and seeing how much I've learned, she's definitely right that like it'll just click for you. And I can't even pinpoint a time when it did for me either, but no, like I can't believe I was the same person 3 months ago when this started. And now I have all these cool skills that I'm just ready to apply in a work experience. And I'm really, really excited and thankful for that.
So I know there were a lot of different tasks and kind of dividing up all the work to do and figuring out timelines. I'm wondering if maybe one or two of you would like to talk a little bit about how did you divide that work and how did you allocate and how did you balance the time management aspects?
I would say it kind of felt organic. It came across as here's what we have on our plate, here's what we need to accomplish, and we just kind of tackled it. We just kind of went at it. There wasn't a whole lot of discussion of, oh, okay, so you handle this, 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 and this, and you handle this, this, and this. It was we're all just kind of working on it and piecing it together, helping each other with the hurdles that we encounter along the way. And so we all kind of had like our toes dipped into every bit of the step, every bit of the process. It just kind of it worked organically like that for us anyway.
For our team Subaru, it was kind of everyone just took a role. It's like, okay, I'll take Active Directory. Does somebody want to work on the scripting? And if you didn't want to do it, somebody else would volunteer to do. And if you needed help, somebody else like Angelica or Khalid would help me if I was stuck with something. It was volunteer based. We didn't have to conscript anyone into any jobs.
Awesome. So one of the scenarios, and I know it's always tough when you get 1 week, especially after only learning in 9 weeks, right? Coming from a different career and transitioning over to IT. Can you talk about some of the ways that you could see these two businesses interconnecting, resources they might share? Why was one Azure, one AWS? How realistic was that scenario? And kind of how might you grow those two networks together?
Sure. So first off, we did integrate connectivity between our SQL database and the other team. We do have, I just opened up a single port for a static IP on their network. So we did integrate that, and that's as secure as we can do it without, connecting VPNs and such. And of course, that's on the RDS instance, so it's just the database server. There's nothing else that's connected. We did not connect domains together, although that was next up on the docket, maybe for next week, maybe Monday and Tuesday. But we would connect them by using domain trusts between both of our domains together, and that's how we could integrate them. But again, we just ran out of time.
And how realistic did you feel this scenario was? I mean, as you went through, is this something that you feel like you would be prepared to enter the workforce? And maybe Carla, you can talk a little bit applying that simulation into an actual project again you spoke to earlier, is this how you'd imagine something like a locally McGrath dealership, for instance, playing out?
I do, and I actually came from a company that was having a lot of acquisitions and having to merge a lot of systems. And I can see this as how, I mean, at least I would imagine this is how it would happen in the real world. And I feel like I could make at least a significant contribution to handling it.
Awesome.
I can tell you this is a very realistic scenario. I don't know if any of you guys have seen tech systems in schools, but usually they'll go with Google or Microsoft, but there'll be certain software they'll have to integrate in with Microsoft, or adding to an online component, say like Power School. They don't always connect nicely together, and you have to find workarounds to make it work. So having to connect two different domains of Amazon and Azure, that's very realistic.
Awesome. Yeah. So the last question, I think, or I'm sorry, not the last. We've got two more in the queue, so you don't get off that easy. But the next question, based on what you've learned so far, kind of what is your future learning goal, or what are you excited to dig deeper into? And I think for this, maybe Khalid and Angelica, let's start with the two of you, and then this is probably something everyone can answer for us quick.
Yeah, actually, before joining DeltaV, I was kind of focusing more on like certificates of like Network Plus or CCNA, but then I kind of learned a little bit about cloud computing, like Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Services, and I found it like this is like very handy, and like there's a lot of things that can be done through cloud computing, and I'm definitely going to dive more into like Microsoft Azure and Amazon Web Services.
So I'm just really excited to be able to apply all of these things I've learned in a real work setting, because I've never really done that before. So I'll be entering a service desk role, and I'll be applying a lot of what we immediately learned, at least in 201. But I'm just really excited to see where that journey goes. And I guess my goal from there is probably to pursue a certification like ITIL or something similar. But I'm just really excited to see what it looks like to apply these skills and get to meet people and do that in the real world.
Yeah, I have a lot more cloud stuff that I want to learn. I feel like I've just scratched the surface. Yeah, definitely. I feel comfortable in AWS and not in Azure. So I kind of want to get both ground level certifications and get that Azure one as well.
I didn't want to answer directly after Angelica because my answer is the exact same as hers.
And I'm the opposite of Alex. I don't have certification in AWS, but I'm working to get my certification in Azure just because I found cloud computing interesting, and it's good just to have some groundwork and to prove to future employers that you have an interest in this stuff and you have done some homework to say that, oh, I have these skills.
Yeah, everyone is right. I completely agree with them. I don't know how else to put it. If I were to narrow down, I'm excited to use these tools of where to search for information. I know how to learn more about about everything in this industry now. It's not foreign, it's not guessing. I know where to go. And I've made so many resources with these people, so many connections. It's just that's a huge part of it.
Awesome. So being that it's at 2 and we want to be mindful and respectful of everyone's time, I get to send it home with the final question. So again, thank you so much for investing in the students. Thank you for investing in the tech community locally. Thank you for opening doors and creating opportunity for all people to see their place in tech. This is our 301 class, and we're wrapping up with this group today. Unofficially, we'll have lunch next week, Thursday, but that's for next week when we get to say goodbye and the tears really start flowing. But for the final question, I wanted to ask, we've got our newest batch of students in the ops curriculum, the 201 students who will graduate their class of 201 on February 26th. So what advice would you have for them and for future network admins? And then we'll close it out from there.
Yeah, this is a good one. The biggest thing is just always be ready to learn and always push yourself to learn. That's everything in IT. You never know it all. You're always just going to have to keep adapting and learning. If anyone tells you they know everything about IT, they are lying to your face. It's as simple as that. You just always be ready to learn.
Yeah, and as soon as you learn something, try and put it into practice and try and mess around with it in a real world sense. Try and make it work.
Yeah, so sometimes while like doing labs and homework assignments, you might find that it takes you a lot of time to figure out something that may be just very simple. Don't get frustrated. Just keep doing your research, ask questions, and you should be able to go from there. Yeah, just don't give up.
I would definitely say for somebody like coming in completely green like myself, I would suggest definitely becoming comfortable with uncertainty. Just with using educated guesses, utilizing collaboration with your team, the resources that are available through the course and online, and knowing that it's okay to not be certain, especially if you're trying to problem solve something that you've never ever done before. But knowing that the resources are available to help you figure it out and get you to the point of certainty and confidence.
In the words of Dory, just keep swimming. Don't give up. It'll click eventually. I promise. It will. I guarantee it.
All right. With that, I think we're going to let Aaron share a few closing comments. And again, thank you.
Yeah, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you for putting your faith in DeltaV and Dan to lead you through learning these new things that, again, for some of you was absolutely brand new. And we obviously wish you all the best of luck in your new careers. It's a super exciting time, and I'm really anxious to stay in touch with all of you. That's one of the cool things about, I feel that DeltaV cohorts really stick together, and our alumni is very active and they stay connected, and they keep helping each other out even long after school is out, so to speak. So I'm really excited to keep in touch with all of you and hear how you're doing. Again, one more shout out to all of our partners. Thank you, Volta, for hiring some of these folks, CCR for hiring folks out of DeltaV, and Project Iowa for investing in students to go through this as well. And of course, Future Ready Iowa for investing in Iowans that are really looking to fill some of these high demand careers that we have. So thanks to all of them. Again, students, thanks to all of you. And thanks to everybody who tuned in to watch these final project presentations. We'll do it again next time. So thanks everybody, and have a great weekend. Stay safe.